sometime.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to the Chapter 1 Today's Restaurant News Networking Group. We are a group of restaurant vendors who are here to help each other in our businesses and also to help restaurateurs solve any problems that may come up for them. We have hundreds of years of experience amongst us and the contacts that we have, and we are here ready, willing, and able to help anybody who has a problem. If you're interested in coming to a meeting or getting in touch with us, please call 561-620-8888 or go to our website, trnusa.com. And if you want to see all 281 videos that we have on our YouTube page, it's Today's Restaurant is the page. Ron Weber, you prepared today?
I'm all prepared.
All
Of course
right.
I am, Howard. You ask, I deliver.
Thank you. We have Ron Weber will be doing his presentation today on his very unique product, and there's nobody new here. Okay, I expected a gentleman sent me an email about coming back. He used to be with us when we met in person. He does furniture, but he's not here yet. So we'll see if he shows up. But in any way, that's probably him on the phone.
Go ahead.
I want to introduce Ron Weber from Silver. And Ron, do you need to share the screen?
Yes, I'm going to share the screen. So I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'll utilize to go through our product. I appreciate the opportunity to present it to the group, and I will go through the presentation if you're ready for it now, Howard.
We're ready.
Okay, so I'm going to share the presentation, and I'll go through all the particulars of the product line that I am representing. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay, we are up and running. So this is the product that I'm representing. I work for MindLab, who's owned by a company called Codan. They're a public company in Australia. They have developed over the last year a product called silverware that, utilizing their vast knowledge and experience as a world leader in metal detection, they have brought a product to hospitality to help save restaurants money by avoiding their staff throwing away their silverware. So I will discuss MindLab and the product that we're representing. I'll review over the competitive products that we have in comparison to silverware and kind of compare the two. I'll go over the products, the parts, the control box, which basically detects for all the metal products, as well as the operation, our utilization of stickers to make things detectable, and how our control device operates with the batteries and the charging and the cleaning of the unit. So to give a little history of MindLab, we were founded in 1985 by Bruce Candy. We're an Australian-based company. We have global offices in Australia, in Adelaide, in Dubai, in Chicago, located in Naperville, Illinois, distribution center, Cork, Brazil, and Mexico. We represent and manufacture premium products across the gold, the treasure, humanitarian market segments. And we have a large staff of engineers on our staff in Adelaide, 80 plus engineers that develop products worldwide for our metal detection, gold detection, counter mining, communication, and newest venture of silverware for hospitality. It gives you a little map of where we're located. for the different Codan and Mine Lab offices throughout the world. As you can see, we're located in headquarters for our communication company, Vitron, in Washington. And as far as Mine Lab's concerned, we're in Mexico, Chicago, and Dubai, Adelaide, as I expressed before. Our communication offices are located a few locations globally as well. So you can see on the map. The competitive products that we have compared to the metal detection, as many of you may or may not be familiar with, is a magnet unit. One of the companies that manufactured this is Sanjamar. It's different than the system that we operate under because this simply uses magnets. So it's been around for a number of years. It basically detects the low grades of silverware. It does not detect other items like ramekins or anything that's made in other material. So this unit has applications for different size garbage containers that it fits over, and it works on a magnet system. The market that we've basically been representing our product to is different types of hotels, national and regional restaurants, as well as country clubs, casinos. We've had some good success with amusement parks, sports facilities. Our current program, we distribute through many of the big distributors, Clark, Webstrand, as well as Trimark and Edward Don, and then different international distributors that we've made arrangements with, and regional distributors throughout the country. As you can see, the Silver Saver product, it shows the base of the unit. It fits over a standard 32 and 44 gallon round garbage can. Fits one size fits both sizes, and then there's a tray on there with a handle. The red device there, as you can see in the middle, is the control device, and I'll show you in a future slide a little more details on that. So as you can see in our user manual here, that shows the actual base that fits over the garbage can. Basically what happens is when the staff comes from the restaurant, whether it be the bus team or the servers, they come back and they drop the food into that tray. If there's anything in metal in there, this will detect for all grades of silverware, 18.0, 18.8, 18.10, as well as utilizing our Silver Saver label, which will make items detectable. An alarm then goes off. As you can see, the control device in the on the base there is the in red, and that can be set in two modes: a high detection mode and a low detection mode. Low detection mode will bypass items that have tinfoil in it, like ketchup or mustard packets or mayo or things of that nature. The alarm goes off. There is an adjustment on the alarm, with volume control. So if it gets too loud, there's three reasons that the alarm will go off. Number one, if the tray is is open. Number two, if the control device gets disconnected. And number three, if an item is detected in the tray. So once something hits in the tray, then the alarm goes off. You take them out, and the alarm will stop. And then you can take the handle and throw away the excess foods. This shows you a little idea of what it actually looks at and the parts of this device. It shows the tray, the handle, the control device, the trash can. The control device is connected with a magnet to the actual tray, and then underneath the surface of the actual tray is where the metal detection will identify these items. This shows you the actual control device, and as I mentioned, the alarm will go off based on detecting any types of metal. It will also detect for nickel, or any high grade steak knives or all types of grades of silverware. So it'll basically, it's not restricted on what it picks up. This shows the low and the regular detection mode, as well as the volume adjustment. This is a lithium battery, the control box. So it needs to be charged. It'll run an entire 3 shifts of a restaurant. And then it's basically just like a cell phone. You charge it overnight and it'll be ready to go the next day. So this basically shows, as I discussed, the operation. So as you can see in slide number 1, you power on the control unit. Number 2, you come back with a tray of food. You drop it into the tray. It detects, as you can see in slide number 3, you visually can see that there is a silverware in it, utensils, as well as a ramekin. You take those out, you remove them, you dump the excess food, you close the tray clipped, and you've now saved that amount of money. So the question is, how do you make a item that's made in different materials, whether that be melamine or any other porcelain or any other type of item, by using our Silver Saver label, attaching at the bottom of specifically this ramekin, it'll make it detectable. This Silver Saver labels is rated for high pressure dishing washing machines, and will hold up over 3,000 washes. As you can see, as I explained, the control device simply at the end of the day just gets hooked up to a standard outlet, and then just takes a few hours. It'll charge it up. It'll be ready to go the next day. We have not had any problems with anybody running out of charge. Cleaning, the items to be cleaned are, you can use soap and water on the control device in the top of the slide. In the middle, it shows the actual tray that it can go in a commercial dishwasher. And then the base or the body of the unit needs to be hand washed because it won't fit in the standard size dishwasher. That's the basic program. So your success is our goal. So I'm going to put off the slide and continue talking and answer any questions anybody has.
Yeah, hi. And how's everything? How you doing? Yeah, I'm just curious about something. If the food or the metal that is separated from there, what happens to the discarded metal? Is this separated from the food, or how does that work?
So what happens is that when the servers or bus team come to the back, they put it into the tray. And once it's in the tray, the alarm goes off. And then you need to remove, the metal items. You see it visually, you take it out. As soon as you remove them and they're all removed, then the alarm stops going off. So we've been navigating with this all across the country. The product's been out, we've started the production in about April. We have a very, big amount of inventory. We've put them into national chains as well as many regional restaurants, all throughout the country. And we've had some very good success with it. What we found on a return on investment on this is that the average restaurant that's accustomed to ordering many of them once a month have now been able to eliminate throwing away a lot of these items and go from ordering once a month to every 4 or 5 months. It's cash flow positive within a year. So if you look at it from an aspect of the cost on this unit, and give or take plus or minus, runs about $1,000 a unit from the average distributor. So if you break it down to a 1-year cash flow, it's about $20 a week. If they're throwing away any more than that, then it really is cash flow positive in a year. Since the item can be capitalized on a 5-year basis, really works out to about $15 a month. But to answer your question, yeah, once the alarm goes off, it's visually, you take it out, remove it, and then you unclip it on the handle and throw away the excess.
And your greatest customers have been in the restaurant business, casinos and hotels. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, pretty much. I've had a good amount of casinos that have purchased them, and the majority have went into to restaurants.
That's fascinating.
I have a question. does that handle lock if it's detected or do you manually unlock it, or is it like the system locks it if it detects?
So if
valuable
it
goods?
detects, you can unlock it at any point in time. So it's not 100% safe proof. So they can throw away the excess just by unclipping it.
Okay.
So what we've found is that the success that we've had is where a manager or a chef manages the program. And as I see it, it's like Pavlov's theory of conditioning. If we go back to our school days, once the staff gets trained, they're conditioned to do it on a regular basis. They're not hearing from the general manager or the chef yelling at them that they don't want to hear the alarm going off. So once they're educated and trained on it, it's pretty safe proof and it works pretty good. But they can unclip it at any point in time. But we found over the last year, it has not been an issue. The only time that it doesn't work, which is in a very small percentage of the times, is if they're just not watching the store.
I have a question. Thank you. Ron, years ago, and I'm thinking Howard probably even got me, when I say years ago, let's say under 10 years, involved with the FRLA, or about the time I got involved with here at Harold. I had met a company that was doing or had just invented or worked with a product like this that I was in awe of at, I think, the FLA convention in Orlando. Is this a product that there was some inventors in the United States? Because I kind of remember the whole story, and I talked to them for a while about setting up some finance programs. So it's very intriguing to me because I thought it was a cool idea then, but I'm just wondering, how they may or may not be associated.
Well, the origination of the product that started the actual base were two inventors in Texas that
That's
started
it.
with,
That's
yeah,
it. They were from
right.
Texas. Okay.
Right. So
How
two
long ago was
inventors in
that?
Texas that started with the base, and they were original inventors of the product, and they were looking for an avenue because it was all just based on sight. So in other words, you see an item in the tray and you remove them.
Mm.
So they searched for a solution to incorporate metal detection technology in this actual product. So they had reached out to Codem and then MindLab, the division, and made an arrangement with them a few years ago. And it has been in development for the last 2-3 years to come up with the right recipe for this. And that's where I came in about a year and a half, no, about 2 years ago, where I came in the development of it. And I'm employed by MindLab, and we are a metal detection manufacturer. So we took that actual device, the original flatware saver is what it was called.
That's what it
And
was
we
called.
incorporated the metal detection technology. So now we kind of stepped up the game on it. And, we've had some very high success with this program. We've sold more units in the last year than that original product, which had been around for about 10 years. So it's a great product. And with the incorporation of metal technology and not being a magnet system, it really steps up the game on this program and gives a solution to restaurants to be able to save money with all grades of silverware, as well as other items using our ramekin, our Silver Saver label for items like ramekins. But that's interesting that you knew about that. But
Well, it's just cool because I talked to them, and I could even, and I think it's could have been anywhere up until 10 years ago. It's been a long time,
Right.
maybe not that long. It's hard to gauge things with the pandemic, but I thought it was really cool then. And I watched it a few times and talked to them and tried to put a finance program together for it at the time, but it didn't work out. So when you're telling me something, I'm thinking that's so cool. Now it's been picked up by the big money and you're leading the effort to let everybody know it's out there.
Right. So it's creating a lot of awareness for the product. It's kind of a disruptor in the industry, and we're having good success with it. So we're just spreading the word and marketing it. We've done some marketing with Howard and his team, and we've working with different distributors. We've been representing the product in trade shows and kind of traveling throughout the world spreading the word on our product, but it's definitely a product that can save restaurateurs a lot of money, and using the right technology with the experience that our company has.
Did you
Ron,
cover? Sorry.
Ron, another thing that's very, very important, it leaves a lot of room for an evolution of technology, especially robotics, and also a mechanism where it would literally be able to talk to you to see what, for instance, what ingredients or metals are in there. Another thing is I have a contact I can help you with to obtain followers, and I will text you after the meeting.
Sure, that'd be appreciated.
Right.
Ron, did you cover the cost of a single unit? Have you done case studies on ROI or anything like that?
I have. The units run about $1,000 from a distributor. And as far as an ROI, if you break down, 52 weeks, it's about $20 a week. And what I found is that through the many units that I've put out over the last year, is that it's cash flow positive within a year, because the average restaurant, and it basically is going in fine dining and casual. Obviously it's not going to go into fast food with restaurants that are using disposables. But through my experience, I found that every restaurant is throwing easily more than $20 away per week. So that makes it cash positive and a return on investment within a year. However, Robert, it can be capitalized, or it is capitalized over a 5-year depreciation schedule. And if you break that down over 60 months, you're talking about $15, $18 a month over 5 years, which really makes it an easy decision, because it's cash flow positive out of the gate and it's accretive to earnings, over a 5-year time period.
Thank you.
Yeah, and what's even better is we could put a finance program together, so your company, Mind Lab, gets paid in advance, pre-funded, and the client can just pay monthly for whatever period of time they choose. I realize for like one unit, it's not a big deal, but I would assume you sometime have franchisee, restaurants that have multiple locations or more, because this is just per one garbage. Is that correct? For one?
That's right. We have restaurant chains that have ordered many. So, being that it's not a high ticket item, we're open to offer them a package, Pam, if that's something that makes sense. But generally, you're going to have one at a time. The larger chains are just going to, it's all going to come through the distributor, and we're going to get a PO for that. But if there's something that was on that scale, certainly we would be open if that's something that would be an incentive for them. So you'd have to, send me the package, and I'd, be happy to look at that.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, Ron, I have a question. Are you working with any of the large industrial laundries like Alsco or Cintas, UniFirst, through them?
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up. They have a real problem with the white tablecloth when they cleared the table,
Right.
and there's a massive amount of silverware that gets wrapped up in that. And I actually had a restaurant here, I'd have to look up who it was, that ordered a few of them, and he said that when they take the tablecloth off, they put it on top of our device. He bought some, and it detects it, and then they take them out. I've also been to some shows, and I've had discussions with them, and they're like, one of the companies showed me a picture of how much silverware that they came back, and they had a barrel full of stuff that, I want to show you they showed me a barrel of what that comes back in the week. So the problem is that, it's not coming from the trays or from the dishes, from the restaurant. It's coming from the white tablecloth. But that's a problem too. And it's something that we're aware of. We're getting our feet wet right now with this product, but we know that there's a solution needed for that as well as, food processing and we've had some outreach to different companies that manufacture, equipment. And when food goes through, whether it be cheese or meats or what have you, go through a food line, they have to make sure that it's safe and that they're detecting for any metal that can contaminate food. So, that's another avenue for us, but there are solutions out there and, globally on the manufacturing end. But, we've had some discussions with a few companies on that.
Well, I don't know if you read the article recently, but there was a major study done of chocolates. And I did a lot of financing in the manufacturing and automation as well as this. And almost all the name brand chocolates had the metals in them, dangerous metals in them. And Hershey was one of the worst. So it's interesting that you say that, because people don't realize, I think, when it's going through a manufacturing line, it is exposed to a lot of different things. So that's kind of cool.
It is, and they take a lot of safety protocols, and there is equipment and safeguards that they have, and they may or may not be something that we would explore at some point in time, but we know that the problem exists there.
Ron, let me ask you one other question. With all the food that's in there mixed with the metal, does the device detect any metal within the food itself? I mean, is there a way, for instance, maybe, because mercuric oxide, mercury is very abundant in certain metals. It's very dangerous for the nervous system and such. And I was just wondering, does it exist now where you can detect metal within the food, or is there maybe a future development of technology, computerized with some sort of software on the horizon, so that it would be able to detect whatever metals in it?
It will detect anything that's in. You won't be able to see it necessarily, and I don't know that's a problem with the food. But if there was metal in there, wrapped up in some food, it will detect it, because our metal detection will pick all different grades of metal, and anything that's in that tray before it goes into the garbage can, the alarm is going to be set off. So yes, it's conceivable, but I don't know of examples of that. Really, I know that our labels in the actual silverware, all different grades, are detected. A lot of the fine dining restaurants are thrilled because the magnet unit doesn't detect for their grades, and especially when they have items that have like nickel in it. I've had steakhouses that say, well, this is great, and they say, will it detect for this? It's absolutely. So it'll detect for anything that's in the food, as long as it has some sort of a content in there. It'll detect it on the device. The tray, if you turn it over, there's a ring around it, and that's the actual surface. So it will detect it, several inches above the tray. So as soon as it's above that surface, it's going to detect it.
Extraordinary.
Okay. Well, if there are any more questions for Ron, I'll keep the window open at the end of the meeting. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much, Ron. Very informative. It sort of distinguishes your product from the ones that are on the market already, and it's good to know. And John Marinek's probably got turning, his wheels are turning. I could see. All right. And next week we also have a in-house presentation from worksite employee, and so I want to get our intros in for the benefit of those who may be watching. And Chris Pumo, are you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
I know. Why don't you start us off, because you haven't been here for so long. We don't even know what you do.
Yes. My apologies to everyone for being a little bit delinquent on my attendance. So my name is Chris. I run a company called Skyline Analytics. We do data analytics and strategic finance for many industries, but we do specialize in the restaurant and hospitality space. The best explanation I could probably give you for it on the finance side is, the concept of outsourced CFOs and tax and accounting have been out there for a long time, but an outsourced director of FP&A, financial planning and analysis, that's not typically a role you'll see in a $20 million to $150 million company, but it's obviously a high value individual, right? So that is basically what we are. We're an outsourced FP&A company, but we're also a data analytics company. So we integrate data from really any system. We're completely system agnostic. So it doesn't matter what point of sale and accounting system and CRM they're running. We come in with a fresh approach to the data itself. We bring it all into a consolidated system that we design for them. It's completely custom. We're not pulling software off the shelf. And then we're there to help them optimize labor, optimize cost of goods sold. Return on investment is obviously very high in my opinion. So that's basically what we are, and happy to discuss offline any more details anybody would like to know about us and what we do.
Great. Chris hasn't been coming because he's been very busy, and maybe the fact that he hasn't been coming is partially my fault, because maybe I didn't make this clear to the membership, but the company, your company in this group is the member. So if Chris is not able to come for any reason, or any of you are not able to come, please feel free to send somebody from the company to attend the meeting. You know, some of our members have 1 to 2 other members who do attend the meetings, and that's perfectly fine. So appreciate it. Thanks. Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Randy, what restaurant are you sitting in?
Good morning, everybody. I just returned from Las Vegas for our national payroll meeting. So sat in the Houston airport all night. Really super exciting things coming in through the payroll software. So I'm Randy Pomputis with Heartland Payroll, and we are really transitioning into a software solution to elevate the employee experience through our solution. So a lot of great things happening. Next week, I'll share some payroll statistics across the landscape. And that's pretty much it. I'm pretty exhausted, but great to be back, and hope everybody's having a great week.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're glad you're here at least.
Terry Lena, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Terry Lena. I work for Workwear Outfitters, and we manufacture workwear apparel from the front of the house to the back of the house for a restaurant, as well as many other items. You can reach out to me for a wear test or samples of any of our apparel. We also do in-house logos, so that really helps streamline the processing when you're ready to order. We work through distributors. My contact is 720-244-4972 or terry.lena@wwof.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Sal, good morning.
Good morning. I am Sal with Servi. We make service faster for busy restaurants and bars. We are a QR ordering platform that shows a beautiful QR menu at the tables, but also takes the order and the payment and then prints the ticket automatically in the kitchen and bar. We help restaurants save up to like 66% on front of house staff or reopen their dining rooms with much less staff. I can be reached at get.ser.vi and sal@ser.vi. My number is 615-663-3663.
Thank you. John Marinak, good morning.
Good morning, John Marinak, Marinak Food Service Consultants. We design restaurants and try to lay your restaurant out any way that you'd like it. And we met up with Sal over at the restaurant show in New York, and he had a pretty neat idea going on that was pretty good. And we sat at one of the tables, and then you just scan his little device there with your phone, and you just order stuff, and he runs it over to your table. And so his guys are running stuff all over different tables, and you get yourself a Coke and get yourself some chips and everything like that. So it was pretty cool.
We opened the restaurant in the restaurant show and ran food and drink to all the stages, all the tables around the show.
Did it work out with the robot?
The robot. So we had human runners, and we did a partnership with the robot. The robot didn't do very well in the trade show. We didn't do much with that. But yeah, it was amazing. I'm glad you tried it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I had to get a Coke to go, yeah. But yeah, we do restaurant design and everything like that. So if you guys ever need a restaurant designed, we're the people to call. And been burning the candle at both ends. That's why I'm a little bit tired today. But been
I feel
running
you.
all over the place.
I
So
bet.
954-817-1183 if you need to reach us. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Robert Smith, good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Rob, and I solve the labor shortage for small to mid-sized QSRs by replacing human cashiers with this cashier behind me, self-ordering kiosks powered by Grubber. Self-ordering kiosks improve the customer experience. They increase the average ticket size by 20 to 30% by using upsells and increase order accuracy. They also never call in sick, never ask for vacation, never need training, and are fully trustworthy. If you're doing business with QSRs, then you're doing business with somebody who could use self-ordering kiosks. I can be reached at 561-609-6405 or rsmith@touchsuite, SUITE.com.
Thank you. Ron Weber, you want to add anything or give your contact information?
I can give my contact information, and Ron Weber from Mind Lab, representing Silver Saver, a device that helps restaurants save money by avoiding their staff carelessly throwing away their silverware. I can be reached at 630-596-6527, RON.WEBER@mindlab.com.
Great, thank you, and thank you for the presentation. TRN Terry, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has a good weekend. I'm kind of in slow mode today because I've been working super hard. Nothing like John Marinick, I tell you, he's everywhere all the time. I admire that. I wish I had that kind of energy. I handle getting the leads out on time, the monthly reports that we do, which cover the entire state that we live in here, which is Florida, from the Panhandle down to Key West, what's coming in, when it's coming, about when it's coming, the phase that it's in, who owns it, phone numbers and email addresses. A lot of information is very hard to get, but we do manage to get most of it. This month and last month, very surprised, we had about 80 brand new leads in Florida. Georgia was less, but it always is. It's not as much going on, as people just seem to be flocking into Florida. I'm telling you what, I can't believe it. It's insane. And like Howard said, he got a call from a gentleman this morning. We met one time when we were up in Tennessee visiting, and we went into this little place called Wow Burgers or whatever it was, talked to the owners, come to find out they're selling and moving to Ocala. So they call him now for everything that they need, and he refers members. So if you get a call from Ocala, from a fast talking gentleman.
He's going to be coming to a meeting.
Okay.
He's in the process of moving, and he promised me, and I believe he will be here. And he's opening up a hamburger place in Ocala, and he needed a sign company up in Ocala, so we're trying to find that for him right now. We got a lead from somebody in the 9 o'clock group.
Yeah, I sent you the information on that.
Got it.
All right, so everyone have a good weekend. And if you need a sample, I redid the sample sheet that is pretty decent. So if you haven't gotten a sample of the leads, let me know. TERRI@TRNUSA.com. I'm happy to send you over a new sample sheet. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, this gentleman from Tennessee who just moved to Ocala, I put him in touch with Casey from the grease trap cleaning lady in our group. So that's underway. Okay, John McCabe, good morning.
Good morning. I'm John McCabe. I'm with Carpigiani. We're a large manufacturer of gelato, ice cream, and pastry equipment. We also distribute ESA display cases. I had an exciting week this week down in Miami at the Chef to Chef conference for resorts and restaurants and country clubs. There were about 500 executive chefs there, and it was really a great opportunity to meet some really good people. I think people should take a look at it. Next year will be in Austin, Texas, and I found it to be very valuable. I can be reached at 401-368-6406 or John M at CARPIGIANI-USA. And thank you, Pam, for helping me with financing. I've got a couple more to send over to you probably next week.
John, what was the name of that show you were at?
It was called the Chef to Chef.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, be curious. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. Why didn't we go?
I don't know. Maybe we weren't invited.
You're always invited. You're media. I can get us in. I think I know John mentioned it, but for some reason, it didn't sink in to write it down and to go. That would have been amazing. And we probably knew most of the chefs.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
I had a good time. I even got a personal invite to go on the Sea King yacht, which is the largest yacht docked in the United States.
Oh, man. Lucky you. Wow.
Before I introduce Darren, I just want to mention to everybody to please schedule yourself for 1 hour on Fridays to attend these meetings and to stay for the entire time, most of the time, because it's really not fair to everybody in the group who does their intros not to have a full board to talk to. So please schedule yourself for the hour.
Save that for the next Friday so that the ones that left can hear you.
Oh, it's on the video. It's coming in writing. Darren, good morning. I didn't forget you.
No worries. Good morning, everybody. Darren Gull with Tracy.net. We take the aches and pains out of phone and internet services. We are master agents for pretty much every carrier out there and service provider. We help you to virtualize your phone systems, get your phones in the cloud like your computers are. That way you can work from anywhere and everywhere. Solutions we have will help you find the right one at the right price in your budget. So if you haven't looked at a phone bill in the last few months, it's probably time you do, and we can help you with that. So you can reach us at 800-881-8899 or sales at traci.net.
Thank you. And our resident restaurateurs, ice cream companies, I mentioned you to my new friend in Tennessee coming to Ocala and told him about the two of you. I said they came once to get some information and they've been coming ever since. They love it. So here we are.
Well,
you'll have company soon.
we love
Good.
you guys. What do you expect? I mean, my God.
Rob,
If
you
you're a
want to
girl,
answer
I'd
this?
marry you. But what can I tell you? I have already
Nah,
married.
he's already.
Anyway, Delicious Spoonfuls. We're a nonprofit organization, 501c3. We actually just launched our website last week. You can go on and you can actually see what we're doing. We're going to be adding more videos. But basically what we do is we're employing people with disabilities, autism and Down syndrome, who are high functioning, and giving them a functional experience to scoop ice cream and go to all kinds of events. We've already had 4 events already. We actually went to one yesterday up in St. Lucie in Veranda Preserve. It was a new development off Becker Road. and it was very successful. We connected with 4 potential other people who want to do events with us. So it's really, really great. And, we're very, very excited about it. Helen, do you want to add anything or?
We are looking for, if you know of places, we are looking to do weddings, events in your clubhouse, birthday parties, any type of events where we could either sell by the scoop or for a flat fee. And we're just looking for opportunities. And also, if I can get in touch with Pam after this, that would be extraordinary.
And I want to just say, I want to thank John McCabe and also Howard, and we're going to make this group
And
really.
Terry.
This is just.
Yeah, I'm looking at your website now.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And Terry too.
We had a new company do it.
Oh, you
Events-
I need to talk to you a
Events
little
about it.
later too. I've got a lead for you.
Excellent. And
Helen, you should
I
get,
also, pardon.
try and get in touch with the YMCA in Boca.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They run a tremendous amount of events.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a good idea. Thank you. So if anybody else has some ideas, I'm also playing phone tag with Jeff Krantz to get ourselves on the POS. And
Yeah,
we've had
Jeff-
a lot of helpful advice from people here. So thank you.
Jeff wasn't able to, he's had some family problems, so he'll be
Yeah.
back. He'll be back.
Okay. Right.
Anybody else have anything else besides me? Okay, well, I thank you all for coming. And like I said, we started out with 17 and we're down to 10 at the end of the meeting. And it's really not fair to the person who speaks last. So please schedule yourself for the full hour and I will put that in writing to the whole group. So thank you all for coming. Have a great weekend. And I'll keep this window open if anybody wants to stick around and talk. Take care.